this and that, episode 111. This will most probably be the last this and that and what the fuck else for the year 2022. This was a crazy year. We started off in January with the prospect that all the craziness around the pestilence was behind us and the state of emergency had lapsed and things like that. And we all expected it to be a good year. But this Satanist government structure that we have here was definitely not going to relinquish the power that they grabbed during the pestilence. That is, and we were hit with a load shedding. And so we entered a new phase of our lives being controlled by IQ 70s, of which many of them can't even read or write properly. They can't read with comprehension. They cannot read financial statements, but yet they vote over budgets of millions and millions. So the joy was short-lived and the reality kicked. And then in late February, Russia moved into the Ukraine. And of course, the Russophobia was well established by then, and basically every person in the Western world immediately jumped on the wagon and accused Russia of being a warmonger. Lo and behold, we didn't know the facts. For me, it was an eye-opener when I dived into the dungeons of the internet to try and find out what the hell is actually going on. And that was the main reason for the creation of the Skidmarks channel. And I sat and I had a look through a few of my historical programs, and I must say, I'm actually quite impressed. Quite a lot of the things that I was talking about is still valid today. I made 2 predictions, and I was obviously wrong. I thought that by now the EU would be in tatters and on the way out. I was unrealistic and uninformed to make that. And then I made another one in which I said that Zelensky will not see the end of the year. Well, there's there's just over a day left. Actually not. Less than 24 hours left of this year. So, maybe I'm going to be optimistic. Things doesn't look good in the Ukraine. So let's start this off with something for the guys. By now you guys know me. I do appreciate the female of the species. I have great respect for them and it gives me great joy. You look at this image would typically be entered in a category of glamour, and it is quite glamorous, I must say. Photographer did a good job here, and it is a pretty model. I like the shot, and in my mind, the shot earns about 8 to 9 out of 10. And then we get to something that is quite relevant today. There's a lot of talk internationally about colonialism. We can see the fights about colonialism. We see the results of colonialism falling apart and all of that. And this is a reminder of what happened in my country. These are some images from the Anglo-Boer War, and it was a hard and a rough time for South Africa. But the Afrikaner Boere, they really did not bow down before the British. Then we get a little bit details about the wars. Its purpose was twofold: to deliver the riches of the Transvaal by precipitating the overthrow of the legitimate Kruger government and ensuring the annexation of the Republic to the British Empire. So the main reason, as it's been through the ages, they were just after the wealth of the country and fuck the people. And then we get to the pestilence. And as the days goes by, more and more very disturbing things come out. It is basically undisputed now. If you had the shot, you've got major problems. And then they go every day a little bit more crazy. I don't have another word for it. For the people that is falling over and dying suddenly. And I've heard ridiculous things, and I've handled them in the Skidmarks. Here is the latest reason for it. Fabulous news. Being sarcastic puts you at greater risk of a heart attack. Doctors warn. What the hell is that? And then we get to energy, and this cartoon says it all. There's that guy standing on the ladder with a fan, trying to drive the windmills in Germany, and the fan is driven by nuclear power he gets from France. This green story is a bullshit story. And then we get this. This is something that makes me really angry. Breaking news. Haiti, Cuba, Jamaica, Mexico, Venezuela announces military alliances with Russia. The citizens of these countries say we should be free to choose, but the USA say that is unacceptable. If these countries go ahead with these alliances, we have no choice but to invade them. Spoken like a true hegemon. But the time of the US running the world is over. And the quicker they realize it, just their attitude to the world, the better for the whole world. The US is in deep shit. Financially, they're in deep shit. And there is more and more evidence that the West can, under no circumstances, even consider it for a moment to get directly involved with the war with Russia. And then we have this on the immigrant story. And this is details from Maine in America. Best, lowest violent crime rate. Maine ranks as the safest state in the country, as there were just 124 violent crimes reported for every 100,000 residents, less than a third of the national rate. Worst, least diverse. According to the latest census data, 94.4% of Maine's population is white, beating out nearby Vermont and New Hampshire as the least diverse states. And then you look at that bottom part. Oh my God, are you saying what I think you are saying? And the character says, yes. Make of it what you like. Look what the hell is going on in France over the week, what happened there yesterday. And then we get to this. Germany was lying to Russia about the Minsk agreement to prepare Kiev for war, and the US was lying to the Ukraine about joining NATO, so Washington can have its war. Former US ambassador to Russia claims Washington was lying to the Ukraine about the NATO bid. And Merkel threw them under the bus, and today the ex-French president, I think, and confirmed it, that Minsk was a scam. And then we get this from the UK. Exclusive. Ambulance crews urged to conserve oxygen as suppliers unable to fulfill orders. Now, I have said that the UK will go to be a third world by the end of this year, which is 23 hours, but they're there. To be a third world, you don't have proper health care, you don't have proper housing, you don't have enough food for your citizens, and you are financially bankrupt. And that is where England is. Some more from England. In an A&E department of a Liverpool hospital, people are lying in pain on the floor waiting hours to be seen by a doctor. This is a daily reality of the NHS crisis. And I responded to that tweet on Twitter, and I said they should actually come to South Africa and take a look how we do it here. If this hospital was in South Africa, there is more than enough room for 300 more patients on the floor. That's how we do it. And then we get to the Ukraine. And this Zelensky, I think he is running high on the white stuff. And this poster says, Zelensky's brain is evaporating. Zelensky said the following: "No one in the West is afraid of Russia anymore and never will be. We have helped the European Union acquire a real identity." With these words, Ukrainian President Zelensky made his annual address to the Verkhovna Rada. How's that? So, Zelensky has given the European Union a real identity. There's not a single fucking country in the European Union that is independent anymore. They are all slaves of Washington. They can make no decisions. I had a lot of hope for Meloni in Italy, and today I saw she's pledging her full support to the Ukraine. So, they do what Washington tells them to do. And then this piece also from the Ukraine, and it's actually hilarious. Looking out for Shaheds. This is their anti-air defense system lately. It is a joke. Then there is this. The US military aid to Ukraine surpasses India, UK, Russia, France and Germany's military budgets. Look at that graph. The blue lines there is countries' budgets, annual budgets. And it's India, UK, Russia, France, Germany. And look at the extent of the military aid the US has pumped into Ukraine. It is crazy. And then I saw this and I just had to shake my head. This sounds a hell of a lot like these fucking ANC idiots that we have here in charge in South Africa. This is Arestovich, and he's the spokesperson for Zelensky. And it was somebody cornered him about the fact that the Ukraine did not invest anything in their national power grid since, I think, 1994. Arestovich explained that Kiev did not build new energy facilities during the years of independence, as it perfectly understood that there would be a war and all this would be destroyed. The approach is truly ingenious. It's obvious that the Ukrainian kleptocracy plundered everything, not because of a thirst for personal enrichment, but so that the Muscovite invaders would not get it. How the fuck is that? Genius. They didn't invest in the infrastructure because they knew there was a war coming. Every day that goes by, those Ukrainians are not only Nazis, they're idiots as well. And then we get to the US and look at this. This is the international border between the US and Mexico. Look at that and how the people are streaming over that border. And then you get in the bottom part, this is South Korea's border. Joe Biden and Congress agree. This border is important American taxpayers built this barrier and 28,000 American soldiers are deployed there. Drug cartels and human traffickers do not control this border. America is in deep trouble. And then we get this, and this is actually very disturbing. Mental and weight problems leave the US Army 25% short. According to Fox News, the US military has lost 25% of its troops this year due to a high number of cases of obesity, lack of high school diplomas, and mental health problems among young people. It is also noted that a decrease in interest in military service as armed forces are recruiting fewer and fewer volunteers from a dwindling number of military families. Officials have confirmed that this year the Army has lost about 15,000 soldiers from the planned recruitment. Guys, that is serious, and this is what you get with your woke shit. And then we have this. Supplies sold separately. 16 out of 18 French Caesar howitzer self-propelled guns delivered to Ukraine in desperate need of repair, reports the French daily Le Figaro, in a humiliating testament to high rate of wear and tear of the gun shipments to Kiev, with the Ukrainian army not even having access to spare parts. Apparently those guns are, basically all the Western weapons are failing at a hell of a rate. They cannot handle the punch. And then we have this. The veil has been lifted. America is not funding the Ukraine war for our own national interest. We are sending tens of billions to advance WEF interests. The next GOP president needs to make it a top priority to destroy the WEF. And I think it is a little bit late to wake up. The WEF has got basically the whole Western world in deep shut. And then we get to South Africa. And Lucky Mokoena posted this. Why is it so difficult to live together as people of different races? Why is it so difficult for us to tolerate or appreciate one another? Why can't we coexist in this God-given country of ours? Why South Africans? Why? We are all humans after all, aren't we? It's a very valid question. And today I got involved in a scrap about racism on Twitter, and it is scary, some of the things that was posted there by these IQ 70s, really scary. And I saw this image. Look at all those young children there sitting boozing, and the poster asked, where are the parents? Fathers, to be more specific, probably out there also drinking. This is really disturbing. But I did two Skidmarks, one in Afrikaans and one in English, about the importance of that. You can go and look at on the chat. And then we have this tongue-in-the-cheek post. Advanced South African Survival Checklist for 2022. Forged BBBE status enabling you to earn money. Ethnicity updated for BBBE and affirmative action. No tax number. Bribe cash. 4 native languages. A gun without a license. Moorse big knife. Karate. And bull bars on your bulletproof bakkie. I just had to laugh when I read it. And then you get this from the Center for Risk Analysis. Our chart of the week shows what ordinary people consider to be the most pressing issues in South Africa. Nearly half, 47% of the CRA poll participants saw unemployment as the biggest problem in the country. And if you look at this graph, you can see what are the things that are most important. And lo and behold, look at it, right at the bottom. Racism and infrastructure. I have said it many times, and I'll say it again. The biggest racism problem we have in the country is fueled by politicians, and nobody less than our president, and then that cockroach in charge from the EFF. Major racism shit stirrers. Then we have this and you should have seen the comments in this thread on Twitter. It is scary. Manufactured in Orania. The forklift patent was built in Orania with Afrikaner labor and will be exported. Dawn of a new era. And the comments in that thread was shocking, some of them. But one thing that was clear, the vast majority of the people posting there on Twitter, totally uninformed. They live in some altered reality and they cannot see the facts. Impossible. And then we get to the final one in this session. It is the ANC government have made history. They single-handedly made South Africa bankrupt in less than 28 years. The ANC failed its citizens. Look at that number there. That is our debt. It is fucking horrendous. I made a quick calculation when I prepared this program. That means that every living, we take the population of South Africa at 65 million, that means that every living person in the country owes 46,000 rand to that national debt. And if you start working out the old and the frail and the disabled, then you get to a nasty number. Bottom line is, that baby that is born today owes 46,000 rand. And who do we have to thank? The fucking ANC. And you must excuse me for using the words, but they are nothing else than fucking idiots. That is what it is. But that is what you get when you elect the dumbest among the population to lead the country. If you look at that man on that image, that Zuma didn't even pass standard 3. Try and imagine that. In I think it was in 2016 or what, he was there. A man like that in charge of it, and you wonder why the country is screwed. And then we get to that what the fuck, and this what the fuck is for a personal what the fuck. Look at that image there. I just did a search on Twitter, and to my dismay and shock I found I've got 3 accounts, of which only the top one is actually me. These other 2 are imposters. I did report them both, and I saw them yesterday, last night I saw that one in the middle was gone. I'll check tomorrow and see about the bot. And then, on that note, thank you very much for all the support you guys gave me through this year. We're at the end of the year, and although things are tough and so, I know you're going to braai, and you're most probably going to have something to drink with the braai. Please don't drink and drive, and take care of your loved ones. They are important. Family is important. Look out for one another, and I hope that you have a splendid evening, Old Year's evening, and that the new year will bring us some good news. Good night.